Hello and welcome to Smart Impressions. My name is Rachel Meuleman and I'm coming to you live on LinkedIn from the Biz Advisors. Today's session is actually a surprise session. We had a guest that unfortunately had an emergency medical leave, but I wanted to come on because I come on every Tuesday and really give an opportunity to share my knowledge with whoever is here. I want to invite, I know it's a sudden invite. Hey, I'm live. So I hope you guys jump on and jump into the discussion today, because I recently had an experience where I feel prevailed and really, I need to share some of these things. I started a while ago on Instagram going through opportunities where I saw businesses make enormous mistakes that were sacrificing everything from revenue to the potential of customer engagement and longevity. And I really started highlighting these problems and I call them biz mistakes. And so today's session, when there's not a guest that can attend, I'm just going to share with you some of these lessons so that you can decide to implement them should you feel that this is something that you are aware of or maybe need a little more guidance. I'm here to help. So Smart Impressions is all about unlocking business relationships, one connection at a time. And I'm here authentically talking to my community to really help guide them in how smart insights, tips and tricks and strategies to help make lasting human connections, one professional at a time. And really that's in the professional world. So if you are a salesperson, you should be listening, because I'm going to share with you tips and tricks that you can implement today when you go back to the office, or even if you're at the office now, something that you can continue throughout your professional career. I have over 30 years sales experience where I started in promotions and really engaging with people constantly, and really I've moved my industry and my expertise to sales. And after being thoroughly trained in the US market to understand humans and customers specifically, and I wanted to bring this to you today. So today's show is a surprise treat. It is Halloween, so I want to say happy Halloween and surprise you with a little treat, and want to inform you and give you information that can prevent your customer service experience from getting scary from any of your customers. And obviously you don't want that to happen. So I do invite you, if you are listening, if you tuned in, great. I invite you to ask some questions. I'm here to really talk to the audience and my community on LinkedIn Live to see exactly how I can help shape or answer any questions that you're addressing in your business today. So, when it talks about service experience, I can't tell you how important it is. I think each one of us, no matter what relationship we're in, we have to think about what is the purpose of the relationship? What are we trying to achieve? And how do we want to feel in that relationship? I always like this saying that says marriage is a business, because essentially it's a form of a relationship, and you can manage your customers the same way you can manage your wife or husband, in the way that you listen to what they need and you give them what they need. And there's no other time than today that I think we're really, really challenged with, the impact of the mobile phone, for example. And I'm sure, tell me if you agree, if you've been sitting in a conversation before with somebody and they pull up their phone, do you feel that they're listening to you while they're looking at your phone? I'm going to say probably not. I do want to say hi. I have Adhil, nice to see you. Thank you for coming to the room. I want you to jump on the call here and just let me know, have you ever been in a situation where someone's on their phone and basically you're trying to have a conversation with them? Does that feel good? Is that something that makes you feel like valued? Right. And this technology challenge is really one that you're finding in every single communication channel, right? And not only that, you're seeing it in every single relationship, and it's posing a lot of problems from, the human foundation of a relationship, the intimacy of a relationship, whether it be with a husband and wife, whether it be with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or whether it be with your children, and even whether it be in a business environment. So keep that in mind. The purpose of any human, I think, is basically, I think ultimately is to serve, right? But if you were in sales, you were in one of the most highest paying profession in the world. And I think there's a component of every job that has to interact with people, whether it be internally, you're selling to the people within your organization, or externally, where you're talking to customers specifically. And, my dad said something to me a long time ago. It was really valuable, is A is for attitude. He said, I'm going to take you through the alphabet. He started with A and he never, ever finished. He never went to B. We stuck at A, and A was so prominent because A is attitude. When you go and you talk to anyone in any relationship, that smile, that engagement, that attitude that you project is so impactful for that person. And I'm sure you probably heard a smile is contagious. I think an attitude is contagious as well. And in a way that there's energy that's being transferred. So if you walk into a client's office and you have a bad attitude, guess what? They don't want to know. Hate to break it to you, but your customers don't want to know if you had a bad day, if you broke up with your boyfriend. They don't care, right? You're there to serve them, which means that it becomes a very customer-centric kind of approach of how you engage with them, from your attitude to your communication. And so I highlight that because I think many of us forget. We're like we're in a relationship. We have, a communication with somebody, and we're going to talk about how we feel because that's what makes us feel good. Any salesperson needs to know that if you go in a conversation with a customer, your strategy is to let them talk, and let them to do most of the talking. Because when you do, you walk out of that conversation, you may feel like I got nothing to say, but they are going to feel heard and they are going to feel valued. And they're going to be like, hey, that was the best conversation of my life, because they got a chance to talk and communicate. And so that strategically is one of the best ways of really engaging in any kind of sales relationship. It's really important, and so I stress having a bad attitude or expressing something bad that happened to you, to your customer, is the last thing you want to do. The last thing you want to do, right? So the idea of being in sales and going and servicing somebody, if we look at just the definition of service, what does it actually mean? It's the act of helping or doing work for someone, assisting someone with advice, or given to customers during and after the sales of goods or a product. We're giving them information, that we're giving them value and knowledge. We're giving them our time. Essentially, we're giving them our time and we're giving them our attention. And ultimately, what is the goal for any sales, for any business? It is to basically get word of mouth marketing. We're all searching for that word of mouth marketing because that's like the sweet stuff. That's the goal. That's where you actually make the most momentum. That's where you get the most customers, because it's word of mouth. By the people that love you and value you, they are sharing this to other people that they know in their industry, or that may be suffering from the same challenges that you can solve. So ultimately, to get there all the way down that marketing funnel, it's that sweet spot where they purchase and they love you and they are telling everyone they know about how amazing you are. But in order to get down there, there are a number of steps along the way. And these are about the extension of that relationship, that extension of exactly the value proposition that you bring to the table. And so I want to talk about a couple things that I experienced recently that was big biz mistakes gone wrong. I currently had a supplier I was working with, and I had asked, for a little adjustment for some of the work that I had paid for. And initially, the supplier wrote on text message, "No, we don't do that." Boom, hard stop. No. How do you think I felt? I'm the customer. How would you feel? Let me know your thoughts. Throw them in the chat. I want to know, if somebody says to you that for service you're paying for, nope, we don't do it, and they do it by the most disconnected communication channel we have, text message, which we all know. I'm sure you've been in a situation where maybe a message was maybe misinterpreted, maybe you didn't really understand, or you took it the wrong way, or there was some kind of misunderstanding because you never heard the person's voice. You never heard the person's tone, and they just wrote a message to give you a rejection. So there's no doubt rejection on all levels feel not so good. But when you're in the customer's seat and someone tells you no, I'll tell you right now, it doesn't feel good. What's more important is that when a customer said, here's no, it's really significantly impacting their experience, right? And that means that they're not getting what they need. Let's say you can't give them what they need. There's a little bit better way of dealing with this. There's a simple conversation, discussing this, and really understanding what is it that they need and why can you not give it? And maybe there's an opportunity that you can give it. Maybe you have to go to your boss to get approval. Maybe you can come back and say, listen, that's not essentially what was in the actual, brief that we've committed to, but we're happy to do this for an additional cost. We'd love to help you. Having that excitement, again, that attitude to that can do. I had a boss that I worked for in the Middle East, a great guy that had one objective. No matter what he gave me to do, he said, just get it done. Just get it done. Make it happen. And I think this is a huge tip. If you have the control to make it happen, then why would you not? Why would you not do it? So if you have the opportunity to upsell and make more money, why would you not do it? So this is a huge business mistake by saying no, because it rejects the customer's wishes. And that is the last thing you want to do for any customer. So put yourself in their situation. Instead of businesses saying no, any salespeople should find an alternative solution. What is it exactly that you can do? And try to fulfill the needs. Compromise. Come up with a solution. Come up with an alternative, And so if you fail to offer those alternatives, guess what? Customers may leave. They're looking for one thing. They're looking for something. And if you cannot give them what they need, you're not the right person to give it to them. Right? So there's no doubt that every salesperson these days have to be more of a consultant status, to try to provide value and to try to understand the needs, right? Any salesperson's going to tell you, or at least most salespeople should tell you, that when you go into a customer to find or sell your product or services, you better find the pain spot so that you can figure out how to put your products and services into their pain to solve their pain. So the question is you should be asking in every conversation is, what is it that your customers need? What do they need? Right? And if you can't give it to them, then guess what? Showing them where they can get it done and offering a solution will empower that relationship of getting stronger, because then they can trust you. They can say, you know what? You're the right person to go to when I need to solve a problem because you know how to fix it and you help me. Right? So now I get some conversations going on. I love this because Tuesday morning, I just keep 15 minutes, keep it short and simple. I know you're probably sitting at your desk, having a cup of coffee, going through your emails, maybe even checking what is on your list of things to do today. It's a happy Halloween, and we're trying to keep you from making your customer experience scary. So I'm going to share a whole bunch of tips that I think are important. I want you to jump in. And I love this. I love your conversation. So also, I think the front line needs to be empowered, which is not always the case. Absolutely. So I encourage managers, give your staff and the people interfacing with customers a little wiggle room so they can become that problem solver for your customers, because there's nothing wrong. There's nothing worse than having someone say no, but it gets better, because I think it gets even further than that. Empowering staff to basically give a little wiggle room to get things done is one part of it, right? Seeing the opportunity instead of saying, no, how can you make money off of it? Driving revenue from it. The opportunity is revenue right there. There's an opportunity. Someone needs something. You can't give it to them for what they paid, but you can if they pay more. Who's going to say no to money? Right? And so I want to give you an idea. It's really about creating a yes culture. a yes culture, we can do this. And to have your team think creatively and figure out solutions when they're faced with a problem that maybe they can't immediately fulfill. Maybe something needs to happen in order for them to get what they need, right? There's nothing wrong with communicating and clearly expressing the information so that your customer understands and sees that you're trying and you're making an effort, right? Really important. I love another comment. I'm going to share it online so you can see your comments. And I do appreciate you guys contributing to this conversation. It's very essential for service recovery. I love this part because most people will buy. Why? Because the after sales support. Because the service they get after they buy something. And most people will leave because they won't be getting what they're getting, that they bought, or they didn't get what they were promised, or they couldn't get what they needed, right? But there's a totally different way of engaging, having a great attitude and saying, listen, let me give you a solution. I know someone else that can do it, right? At least you're the consultant. You got the consultant hat on and you're caring about what they need. And that will come back to you. They'll come back to you because they know that you had their opinion, their thoughts or mine, and what their needs were as a top priority. So really important. There's no doubt, you don't do this, you are risking losing a customer. And when you lose a customer, what happens? Do they come back? If you stop working with a supplier, do you start ever going back to them again? Think about it. And not only that, it gets worse. If they had a really bad experience, guess what? They tell a whole bunch of their friends. They tell a whole bunch of their friends how bad of experience that they had. And it's like this snowball of negative reflection of what your business offers. And nothing could be more worse than that. Wouldn't you agree? So Bobby, thanks for jumping in the conversation. It's good to see you here online on LinkedIn. I got just a few more minutes to keep this conversation going. Customer satisfaction is key, but so many people forget that. And seeing opportunity and seeing revenue opportunity is key. There's no doubt. So if you were in sales, you have to put the customer first, right? Then it gets into a whole nother conversation. Communication. I am here to shed the light on communication and really help with the human communication that we have in this digital space. As we become more digital, we have all these tools to help with the communication, right? Just a touch point so you know that you're there and I'm here to help and I'm here to communicate. But how about setting some expectations? I always say, like, if someone's disappointed, there's no doubt what was the expectation that they had that basically you didn't meet. A lot of times we don't even ask. A lot of times we don't even set that expectation so we can clearly understand what needs to be met. But this is like 101 sales. If you are in sales, if you are setting any promises, or if you are delivering any service, you need to be able to say, these are the expectations that you should have as a customer so I can meet them, right? And I love this. I love this saying when I talk to people, it's about what is the low expectation I can set? Here's a little trick. Set it low. Set it low. So not only do you meet it, but you exceed it. You exceed it for the customer. If I told you I'm going to give you a delivery and it's going to come on Friday, and you're sitting there waiting for it to come on Friday, and next thing you know, it shows up on Tuesday. I over-delivered. I gave it to you days earlier than you expected. How do you think that's going to affect me as a customer? I'm going to be a lot happy. I might be a lot happier, right? I'm going to tell my friends, oh my God, I got it early. They delivered it early. It was great. What a nice surprise. I'm going to be pleasantly surprised. I'm going to be happy. And I'm going to be really, really, really excited to share that news with other people, right? The comments are coming in. I love this. I want you guys to ask some questions. If this has happened to you, share with me. There's no doubt some people are going to say, yeah, Rachel, I know this stuff you're sharing, but I'm going to tell you exactly some of the problems I saw recently and let you know that they are problems and they're happening every single day in this city. They're happening every single day globally. And I want to ring the reminder that there are issues that we can overlook very simply. If you don't have set expectations with your customers, think about it. If you're dealing with customers and you have no idea what they are expecting of you, then today, after this session, I encourage you, please pick up the phone. Hey, I'm just double checking. What did you expect that from me? And get that clarity. Communicate, connect, and understand what those expectations are. And even if you didn't set them, it's okay, right? All you need to do is understand that they have one. They have an expectation. And if you have no idea, now's the opportunity. Thank you, Rachel. I hope I give you something new that you can start and implement today. Pick up that phone and figure out what is their expectation so that you can meet it. Same story. If my supplier came out and called me and said, well, I'm expecting you to deliver it by Tuesday. And they're like, what? At least they know. At least you know the expectation now. So really important. Most time we under communicate with the customer. Yeah, probably most of the time, probably all the time, I know that a lot of businesses encourage communication. Some businesses are managing that communication, but it's about a relationship, right? You want to know exactly, am I giving you what you need? What do you need? Have I given you a set expectation of when to receive that? Am I actually giving you what you need? Just checking in and finding, I like to say, check the temperature. Are they happy with what you're giving? Are you delivering something that they are happy with? There's no question. There's nothing better than to ask, what exactly is it that you're doing, that's making them happy, that they're enjoying? And I like to say, use open-ended questions. There's a big difference if I ask you, are you happy with my service? Or if I ask you, what is it about my service that you actually love? Right? One of them, are you happy with my service, can be answered two ways. Yes or no. Very simple. It's a closed question. Boom. Yes or no. That's it. The other question, I ask how or what. I get open-ended questions. They all start with how, what, why, where. Like, these are the open-ended questions where people can then answer with a description. What service do you love that I provide that really provides value for your business, right? Oh, I love that you're doing this. I love that you're doing this. Now it's specific about what you do really well, but it becomes an opportunity for the customer to talk more. And like I said, there's nothing better than being heard and being listened to when you are a client. When you're a client and someone is coming to serve you, sharing that information is very, very important. So I encourage you, ask questions. Write those questions down. What questions do I want to ask my customers today? What questions do I need to find out to make a better, stronger relationship with my customers starting today, right? Be proactive. I love another comment here. It says, under promise to over deliver. You know it. Under promise to over deliver. But are people even communicating? Are you communicating about what those promises should be? I think one of the worst things you could say, I'm going to deliver this on Friday. And then guess what? Friday comes. Friday goes. And not a phone call. Nothing. No contact. Zip. And I sit there, and guess what I do as a customer? I get angry. I get upset. I feel like I'm not valued. I feel like someone doesn't care about me. And that is not what you want your customers to feel like. Because guess what? That pain starts to turn to anger. And that anger starts to get to frustration. And it can just build. Even if you have to call and say, oh, I'm so sorry. Take responsibility. Show some empathy. Show some interest. Really important. So again, talking about why this is a business mistake, because I currently had this happen to me and it was not a good situation. Not a good situation at all. And how we handle those kind of awkward situations, those uncomfortable situations, is really key to who we are as individuals, who we are as humans, and how we are impacted by our career and being in a position of sales and service. Another comment also, I feel if we don't set SLA and stick to that, then we are running a risky business. You better believe it. And this, I'm going into this because if you don't start implementing some of the things we're talking about today, you are going to have a lot of problems, right? A lot of problems. And having a risky business involves decreasing customer retention and loyalty. That means customer is going to leave. As I mentioned earlier, the bad reputation, the defamation of your character. Oh, that guy was horrible to deal with. He didn't care. He didn't deliver, right? This, your reputation. Your reputation is the most important thing in the world. And only you have the power to tarnishing it if you don't stand up for what's right and make action to actually deliver on what you believe in and what matches your value situation and the values that you have within your relationships, right? Think about this. So that negative reputation, if someone says, hey, I want to work with these guys, what do you think? And someone actually responded and said, oh God, they're horrible. I hated working with them. They never delivered on time. How likely do you think I'm going to pick up the phone and get a quote or start working with them? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So that one negative experience, it spreads like wildfire. And negative reputation, public perception, and that spreading of negativity about you, your brand, your business can hurt it financially and impact it to the point of closure. So we're talking about loss of revenue, which is when I see loss of revenue and profitability, it blows my mind. I see it on a regular basis when it comes to the food and beverage industry. I don't know if you've experienced, you're sitting at a table, your drink is finished, and you're sitting there, and you see your waiter. Where'd my waiter go? No idea. No one's there. No one's there to service you. You're there to pay money. You're there to actually have a good time. You're there to have a drink, food, whatever it may be. And nobody is there listening to you, watching you, looking at you, or even servicing you. So what do? Get up, go somewhere else where they're going to take care of you. It's really important. These things are happening prevalently. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you don't feel important, you will go somewhere else. But you won't just go somewhere else. You will spread the news of how bad of an experience you had. When any business is trying to get new customers, there's a cost of acquisition, a cost of how much that new customer costs to actually get them into your pipeline, right? And that customer acquisition cost actually can double. If you're losing customers, boom, 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 boom. That's going to be a lot more expensive for you to acquire them. So that's going to be a big expense for the business. And last but not least, if you have customers that are complaining and not happy with what you're delivering, and you have employees that are in the front of the line engaging with those customers, this is a huge pressure. I always feel bad. I always feel bad for a customer-facing customer service rep or representative that's standing there, and you see someone really angry. They're not happy. They did not get what they expected, and they are not happy, and they're taking it out with all their might. I'm sure you've seen that before. I kind of feel a little bit like, oh, God, I feel empathetic towards them. I said, what a bad day, Who would volunteer to be in that situation? But that's a lot of pressure, a ton of pressure for employees who are on the front line. And dealing with the frustration that customers have and they bring to the table could be very stressful. There's a lot of levels of dissatisfaction. They're taking the heat. But also all this stress kills, right? So high turnover. People are going to be more likely to leave the organization. If I got stressed from my job, I don't want to stay. I do not want to stay. That means employees will go. And ultimately, overall company morale and performance is going to go down. And those experiences from the employees internally can also spread like wildfire around your organization. Oh, the business owners and leaders, they didn't care. They didn't care about how I was feeling in that situation. Oh, they didn't want to help their customers. All of this can start crumbling down and being a huge impact to the longevity and success of your business. So I hope you guys are getting some value. My time is coming up short here. I got a whole bunch of comments. I can't thank you enough for everyone that basically jumped on board to jump in and let me know your thoughts. If you are a salesperson, if you are out there customer facing with anybody and they are a human, I highly encourage you to think about some of the tips I shared today. This is available on YouTube as well, where we're streaming live, and also LinkedIn, where we're providing value every single week, every Tuesday from 10:30, just for 15 minutes. I bring in people in my network, people in my community that have information and insight to how humans are making the best connections within this digital world. I do apologize for our delay of the conversation today. I was really looking forward to it. We're going to reschedule it for another time. But in the meantime, think about some of these things. A is for attitude. Before you walk into your next meeting, do you have a smile on your face? What questions are you asking to understand what your customers' expectations are? Think about it. So stop saying no to customers. Just stop it today. Stop. If you said no to customers, stop it. Challenge yourself. I'm a parent. I have 2 small kids. One of the big things in parenting is if I tell my child no, what's the first thing they're going to want to do? They're going to do exactly what I told them not to. And the same thing goes for humans, adults in the business world. So challenge yourself before you say no, or the next time you say no or want to say no, try not saying the N-O word. Change it a little bit. Think, well, I'm unable to do that today, but maybe I could figure out a solution, and really begin to get a little customer centric and understand that you want to be able to provide this value, and you want to be able to share ways that the customer can get what they want. The customer, as I say, always comes first. It's not always the case, but if you want customers and you want to continue growing your customer base, word of mouth marketing, and get down to that golden nugget, then you're going to have to change the way you think and how you engage by setting expectations that you can achieve and exceed, communicating them on a regular basis, checking in to make sure that that you've been heard and that they understand, so that you can come to an agreement that are mutually beneficial for both parties, and verbalize the positivity and prioritizing of your customers' needs for what you need and you can deliver. And I hope that this session today has been very informative, where you can unlocking the business relationships one connection at a time by providing a customer-centric kind of engagement with every customer that you try to engage with for the rest of your day, for the rest of the week. And I love a little bit extra comment. We're going to close it off with change the no to on is right on. We'll take it, Bobby. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. I'll see you next Tuesday. We got fun conversations coming up, a whole bunch of very interesting experts living and working within the Emirates that are going to share with you tips and tricks. And I hope you find value. So comment below. We'd love to see you next week. Have a wonderful day and go out there and sell right on. Have a good one.